Hi, everyone, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATP Live. Thank you to those who are joining me on Instagram. Kemi Olore Saints, I can see you. Welcome, welcome, and I hope our Facebook people can see us as well. So if you can see me, just holla, just shout out, let me know you are there. Um, Send a message, say hello, and let me know you are there. You can hear me, you can see me, and I'm also just going to quickly check our Facebook that everybody, our the video is in the right places and all that. Okay, just so welcome everybody. Happy new month of July. And I am so excited about July. You know why? Oh God, because July is ATP anniversary. Okay, sorry, I paused my video. So, because July is ATP anniversary month, yes, we are actually going to be celebrating our seventh anniversary. So, the entire month of July is ATP anniversary month. So, we're so excited about this. I'm just going to quickly make sure that all the videos are shared and everybody can see me and they can hear me, and so that you can drop your questions on the video. So if you are watching on Instagram or YouTube, just drop your questions under the video. If you are watching on ATP Facebook group, drop your question under the video. If you are watching me from our ATP family, ATP Still a Mom, or FCM Baby Care Ready group, you will have to click on that video. If you have any questions, to post your question there. Otherwise, you can as well just watch. But if you want to ask questions so that I can see your question, you will have to post, you have to click on the video to ask your question. Only for those on ATP Still a Mom and ATP Family Facebook group. All the others, you can just post your questions right where you are, and I'll be able to see them. And I hope to answer all of them in the next 1 hour that we have on this platform. But remember that even though ATP Live is just 1 hour, if you have any questions beyond this time, you can always post your questions to our Facebook groups, depending on what kind of questions you have. Children health questions, post to Ask the Pediatrician. That's our first and the main group. Adult health question, post to ATP Family. And then for first time mom, FTM Baby Care Ready group. And then Instagram people, unfortunately, we will not be able to, we don't do question and answers on Instagram for obvious reasons. Instagram is not properly structured for what we do. So please feel free to always join us on our Facebook group to post your questions there. And of course, for those who want private chats, one-on-one with the pediatricians, yes, we have the ATP clinic option for you. So I think if you check those on Instagram, you can see the WhatsApp number. And for those on Facebook, I'm sure you can see it scrolling through. So you can just send us a message on email, and we'll make sure that you get that question sorted. Or if you want to see our specialists as well, you can also book private one-on-one consultation with them. So welcome everyone. Please drop your questions. Drop your questions on the whichever platform you're watching from. I think I've done all the sharing. Yeah, thank you. I can see people are watching me on Ask the Pediatrician. So if you're on Ask the Pediatrician and you want me to see your name, you have to either say your name in your comments or make sure you give StreamYard the permission to show your name. Because all I'm saying is Facebook user. But I'm sure you're all people that I know on ATP. But if you don't put your name, I won't see you. All right. If you don't give StreamYard the permission, they won't show your name to me. That's part of Facebook privacy issues. So, but if you're on other platform, I'll see your name. All right, I can see Princess Bem Tem Asukwo. Happy anniversary, TP. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone celebrating this our month. We celebrate throughout the month of July. Of course, the 20th of July is actually ATP Day because that was the exact day that we actually started Ask the Pediatrician in 2015. So 7 years of impacting Nigerian and Africa and even the entire world, because we have a Facebook group that has over 100 countries represented. Yes, we do have the data. So we are global. Thank you so much. Josephine, yeah, this one of our ATP volunteer. Nice. Welcome, welcome. How's your baby? All right. So thank you, everyone. I love all your messages. And Instagram people, I can see you guys as well. Welcome, Chisaba, Amara Kings, Moyosore, Ms. Reishi. Welcome, everybody. All right, so let's start dropping the questions. And let's start rolling. All right, maybe I should start doing my trivia. Oh, I shouldn't have told you guys when we started ATP, so I should have done the trivia. Maybe give somebody a gift. Okay, I think I'll start from next week. I can start doing the ATP trivias, and then so our anniversary celebration kicks off on um the third week of July. Let me just get the date so I don't give you wrong information. Yeah, we're starting on the 17th of July. On Sunday, 17th of July, that will be our Thanksgiving. Then Monday, 18 and 19 are going to be our online conference. And guess what we're going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about this economic downtown and how does it affect the health of our children, because we see you, we hear you, we tell you go to the hospital, do this, do that, and you are like, there's no money. So how do we take care of our children? How do we ensure our children survive despite the economic situation in the country? That's what we're going to be talking about during that conference. We're going to talk to pediatricians, of course. Then we're going to talk to health finance experts. They are going to talk. We're going to talk to people from NHIS. We're going to talk to people from the HMOs. We're going to talk to people who are into health finance, so that we can see how to pay for our children's health costs in the most affordable way. So you really don't want to miss that conference. I trust me, we have very lovely speakers. So 18th and 19th of July, and of course 20th of July, I think we're going to have our ATP Impact Day. You're going to tell us how ATP has impacted you. We're going to recruit volunteers and all that. That's what we always say. I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this. That's your time to join our team. ATP, we have chapters in all the states of Nigeria. We also have chapters in Ghana. So we're going West Africa, and so it is not just a Nigerian thing. So that's the time for you to be part of our team. And of course, we're going to have our award. I think that will be on Saturday. We're going to give awards to those who have our volunteers, our moderators, our state leaders. So you want to watch that. And of course, we're going to have our anniversary party as well. So, and then we're going to have on Wednesday, yes, we're going to have free clinics. We're going to have, I forgot that. We're going to have free clinics for members, for our volunteers. You're going to consult with our pediatricians for free. Yes, and of course we have limited slots. It's going to be virtual, and we have limited slots. So just watch out for when the link to register comes up, and you don't want to mix it. So if you want to get free consultation, make sure you grab it fast, because we have very, very limited slots. So that's ATP anniversary, and of course there's going to be a lot of trivias. So you're going to win prizes on our Instagram, YouTube. So this is the time for you to be following ACP on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. If you want to win all our lovely, lovely prizes for the entire month of July, this is the time to start following us. So it's going to be wonderful. We're so excited for the opportunity. What started like just one man, one woman's me trying to help Nigerian children has become an international global phenomenon. Yes, we are at that level, and we are grateful for all the opportunities, for all the awards, for all the recognitions, and for all of you that have been part of ATP story. We're grateful for you. All right, so that is all the announcement I'm going to make. Thank God I remember at the beginning because I may not remember towards the end. So I'm not going to start answering questions. I can't see any question on Instagram yet. So let me start with Facebook. Facebook people are really last week it was Instagram people asking questions, and I was wondering whether Facebook people there's something going on because I couldn't even see it. And say, I think you guys are shifted it this time around. So Facebook people are really on fire this evening. So let's just start with them. All right, thank you, Elaine. All right, so the first question I have here say, good evening, Dr. Gbemi. How do I treat popular urticaria in my son of 1 year, 8 months? It keeps coming and going. All right, so popular urticaria, for those who don't know, is a form of allergic reaction where children have something like swelling, like they have like something is swollen on their skin, but when you touch it, it's actually not like there's something actually like a swelling, like hard and all that. You just see that thing come up, and just like she said, it's something that you may see, and then in the next few minutes it disappear. Or sometimes they could be very itchy, and sometimes when they are itchy, they can, children, you if you don't keep your nails shut, it will scratch, they will bleed, and then the children will begin to have a lot of spots on their body. So it's an allergic condition, and like most allergic condition, most of the time there's a trigger. There's something that causes that child to start having that reaction. So what I normally tell parents that the most important thing to know is the trigger. If you know the trigger and you avoid it, that's it. For some children, it could be insect bites, like insect bites. So that's why it's commoner in the evening for some children. For some children, it could be grass. Some children is a dust in the house. So there are sometimes we don't know the trigger. That's the honest truth. And so what we normally do is that the allergic tendency itself is genetic. You cannot do anything about that. So in other words, something the child has to, it's part of what they have. But what you can do is to reduce the chances of it coming over and over again. So we always say keep the nails short, avoid all these all these sponges and things that are very abrasive on the skin. So use gentle like face towel, or you don't even need to use sponge, just soap alone is enough. And we also say try and let them wear long sleeves, especially in the evening, so that they don't tend to have insect bites. Then avoid all these soap and chemicals that are very, anything that have too much of chemicals. Go for natural products. Keep their nails short, because if the itching is always the problem. They itch so much and they bleed, and if you are not very careful when they bleed, then the skin is compromised, and it is easy for infection to set into that skin. Then they now start having the bacteria or the fungi. But the initial skin issue itself is an allergic thing. But if you don't take care of it properly, it breaks the skin. It makes it easier for infection to set into the skin. And if infection is setting, then we have to treat the infection, and then we have to treat the itching. If the itching is so bad, sometimes we have to give them antihistamine. So we give them things like Piriton and all that, just to reduce the itching, because it's the itching that make it worse. So those are the things we do. Unfortunately, it's something that will keep coming and going. But if you can take some of these precautions, it tends to reduce it. And as they get older, most children outgrow it. Though some are still having it even as adults, so they always have that sensitive skin. But you just have to be careful, know what it is, and avoid what is your trigger. Some people use a particular food, some people use drug, some people just even using cold water or hot water to bath. They will start breaking out in rash and hives and all that. So you just avoid, and that will be what will help. If you still need help, you can see a pediatrician or you can see a dermatologist. But like I noticed that most parents, they're always very exasperated. They always want Dr. Gbemi to give them like a magical drug and everything will go away. And I think the most important thing is that, which is why we always have this kind of platform. When we make those kind of diagnoses, the first thing at least I always want to do is to tell parents what is going to be happening. Because if not, then you will see Dr. Gbemi, then you leave Dr. Gbemi and go to Dr. Funke, and then you go to because you think that there's still somebody who is going to give you the magic. There's nobody that has the magic. Even if you see the specialist, it's still the same thing. So usually we treat each episode as they come, okay? But we try in between those episodes, we want to avoid it. So some children, it is the season. Once it is a particular kind of season, maybe it's rainy season, then they start having it. Some children, maybe it's when it's hot, it's during the hot season, they start having all this kind of skin stuff. So you can't have a magical solution permanently. So you just deal with it as it's come, but you try to reduce it as much as possible. So don't feel like your doctors don't know what they are doing. There are some skin conditions that will always come and go, because they don't, just the same thing with atopic dermatitis, especially all those allergic conditions. They don't have a permanent cure. They will keep coming and going. So once you are aware that this is a child that has this kind of skin condition, try as much as possible to reduce it, minimize it, but you can't eliminate it. Then you just have to deal with. Once it start coming, okay, maybe the itching is becoming bad, then you go get your histamine, you do other things to, to kind of suit the skin and all that, and then that episode will pass. So that's it. So this is when parents already know that, then you are not going to be frustrated thinking there's still something you're looking for that's not lost. So I hope that helps, because it's important to understand that. All right, let's go to the next question. My baby of 6 months plus is not crawling. Okay, crawling is 9 months old, and most babies do not crawl. So we get a lot of questions about my baby is not doing this, my baby is not doing that. Before you ask those questions, you should know what is normal. I find that many parents don't know what is normal. They just think every baby should just do everything, even if possible on day one, they should start walking. It's not like that, okay? So, and some babies are a little bit faster. So sometimes parents compare their babies. Maybe they see another baby with 6 months who is crawling, and then they think, oh, my baby should be crawling. No. So everything is a range, okay? Everything is a range. But just like when everything is a range, some people will do it a little bit earlier, and some people will still do a little bit later. But we are all still within normal, okay? It doesn't mean there's anything wrong. So we pediatricians, we have what we call the cutoff time. That cutoff time is what we are looking for. At which point we start to worry. Before that cutoff time, we're not going to worry. For example, I will not worry about a child who is not crawling until 1 year. And I don't even worry about crawling, let me be honest, because we all know that some babies will never crawl. They will just go from the sitting to the standing and walking. Also, babies move with the bum. They don't crawl the normal on their fours. They just move with the bum. So we don't even worry about crawling. But like walking, for example, I only worry about walking at 18 months. You want baby to walk at 1 year, which is the average. But we also give some babies some time. Babies are just a little bit late. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. So we give them a little bit time. But if by 18 months and they have not walked, then all of us will not say, okay, is there something going on here? So if you want to know what is the normal developmental milestones, you can go to our website. There's a whole article on it's my child development on course, or just type child development, you will see the article. I think I also have a podcast on child development. You can also listen to that. I also have a FTM book that address what are the normal developmental milestones from 0 to 5 years. So you will know all the milestones, so you can check it. And I think some of our booklets, some of your baby's book, they actually write all those milestones at the back as well. So you can also check. So at least I'll give you like 4 options for knowing the normal. When you know normal, then you now know. And most of those booklets also tell you when you should come and see us, when you should worry. So that's just what you need to worry. So this mom, 6 months old, I just want the 6 months old to sit with pillow, not to crawl, not to stand, not to walk. All right, thank you. Happy anniversary, TP. Thank you, it's Lady Prash. No, yeah. Please, what's the home remedy for mumps? Mumps is a viral infection. Most of us are familiar with mumps when their cheeks are swollen like that. So it's a viral infection. It does not require any treatment. It's going to go by itself. So what we normally treat is the symptoms. So there are some conditions in health that we don't treat the condition itself because it doesn't have any treatments, okay? But we treat the symptoms. So the child is having fever, you give paracetamol. The child is having, you should give a lot of water, they let them rest, let them just stay home because it's contagious. So if they go to school, they are going to give it to other children. So that's all you need to do. It's going to run its course, usually within 9 to 14 days, everything will go away. Okay, but if you now notice some complications, some children can have complications. So mumps can spread to the testes for the boys, it can spread to the pancreas for the girls, or even both boys and girls. And so they are rare, but once in a while we have those complicated cases, then you will see other symptoms. For example, child will be complaining of pain, abdominal pain, vomiting, and all that. You have to take the child to the hospital. Or the child is, you can see that the testes, the scrotum, they are so swollen and all that. You have to go to the hospital. But if the child is just having the fever and the swelling of the cheek, there's nothing you could just give them a lot of water, give them paracetamol, let them rest at home and wait for it to clear. There's nothing else you have to do for mumps. But remember that mumps has a vaccine. So we have the MMR. So the MMR is actually 3 vaccines in one. So you have the measles, the mumps, and the rubella in one vaccine. So you can actually prevent mumps by getting the MMR vaccine. You need to take 2 doses. Most people will give it around 1 year, and the second dose, some now give it like within a month or so. Whereas before, we used to give it around 1 year, then have 4 years again. But just take the 2 doses. That's all the baby needs. All right, thank you, Noye. All right, I think I'll take one more question on Facebook, and then I will go to Instagram. Exit Lady Presh say my daughter sucks all through the night. Okay, she's 6 months old. Okay, if you remove the breast from her mouth, she start crying. How do I stop her from doing this? You just stop. Okay, babies crying does not mean they are going to die. I don't know why mothers are always worried about the baby crying. It's okay for babies to cry. Crying doesn't kill any baby. And some things, babies will always cry no matter what. So don't let them use cry to manipulate you, okay? So if you stop them and they cry, after a while they get it, okay? I need to stop, then they will stop crying. So if you fed your baby and your baby is fully fed, there's no reason why the baby should keep on sucking and then crying. So the baby just wants to use the breast as a like a like a dummy, something in the mouth. And I think it's also like a security thing for them. They just want to be sure that you're not going to run away, and that milk is not going to run away. And babies also like sucking. I always tell parents, sucking is something nice and pleasurable for babies. We actually use sucking as a way of relieving pain for babies during surgery. So babies actually suck for other reasons, not because they are hungry. So if a baby has been fully fed and maybe is still wanting to suck and crying, just stop. Baby will cry. Pet the baby another way. You rock them a little bit, you rock, and then they will go back to sleep. And that's it. You can't just say because baby is crying, then you can never stop them crying. That's the only way they communicate in that age. So you don't let the crying be the determinant of what you do. All right, so stop it, and then baby gets it. After a while, they cry, they stop. All right, so that's what you need to do. If you're a first-time mom, I recommend you get the FTM companion. It will help you with all this kind of situation. All right, let me just go to Instagram and answer the Instagram questions. All right. The first question I have on Instagram is by Amara Kings. Amara saying, good evening, dog. My baby started rolling over from to back at 4 months, 360 degree, blah, blah, blah. It's 5 months away, started from, okay. All those ones are fine. Your baby rolling over is okay. 5 months is fine. There's nothing to worry about. You don't have to worry about it. You may also want to get the book on, or you go through the article on what is normal developmental milestone. 5 months rolling back and forth is perfect. There is nothing to worry about. And then say it does the back to front rollover like twice a day. What I'm asking is because it just started. You don't need to worry. Actually, front to back rolling over is usually between 5 to 6 months. And your baby is just 5 months and it's already doing some of it. I am definitely not going to worry about your baby. And don't be too how will I put it now? Don't be too nitty-pricky, monitoring every small, give them time. Every when babies are doing certain developmental milestone, they are also just learning it. So they are going to learn it over time. So they're not just going to start it one day and become expert at it. So there's no reason for you to be monitoring it so aggressively. Just relax, okay? Just relax and let the baby be. Don't worry. So like I told you earlier, we worry after, like, we've given them gap. So for example, if baby is rolling over, I'm not even worried at all. It's only if baby is not rolling over, let's say by 9 months, when I expect baby to be crawling, then I will worry about that. But for the crawling, which is around 9 months, I will not worry about it on baby's 1 year. So we give like extra 3 to 6 months time to the additional normal time before we begin to even worry about it. So just let the baby be. You don't need to worry at all. Your baby is fine. I'm not worried, Amara, about your baby. I think your baby is doing perfectly well. Mustafa say, good evening. What is home remedy for cough? Okay, I'm beginning to get a lot of home remedies, home remedies, home remedies. Okay, let me just add, I think I really need to address the issue of home remedies. Okay. Now, everything is not home remedy. Okay, there are some things that don't have home remedy. Okay, because if you are saying home remedy, it gives the impression like people like Dr. Women doesn't have a job to do. Okay, we have job to do. So there are some things that you have to come to the hospital for. Okay, everything is not home remedy. Of course, I understand what you're saying. So what I prefer to talk about first aid rather than home remedies. So if we are talking about first aid, like what do you do first before you come to the hospital? Yes, I would rather talk about that rather than saying home remedies. Everything does not have home remedy. A child who is having convulsion does not have home remedy. That child needs to get to the hospital. Okay, a child who has taken poison, who has swallowed accidental poison and all that, that there's no home remedy. That child needs to get to the hospital. We need to understand that, because a lot of the time parents delay in coming to hospital because we're trying to solve it. And I know parents, mothers especially, we wear a lot of hats and we are the home doctors. We salute you. We appreciate you for being the home doctors. But please know where your limitation ends, okay? There are certain things you just have to go to the hospital for. Okay, but we have some things we call first aid. A child is having fever, give paracetamol. If after 24 hours the fever is still so high, it's not coming down, you got to go to the hospital. There's no further home remedy. Okay, a child who has cough, for example, there's no home remedy for cough per se. We don't want to give it, we just say give them low. Depending on the age of the child, which you have left out, we really need to, everything in pediatrics has to do with the age. Okay, so what I recommend for a newborn is not what I'm going to recommend for a 1 year old, and it's not what I'm going to recommend for an adult. So you always have to put age. So if a newborn is coughing, for example, most of the time there are viruses. If they are coughing, no fever, nothing, you don't need to do anything. Just keep breastfeeding them. If there's a trigger, you avoid it. For example, if somebody else is coughing, keep them away from other children because they're going to catch it. So that's what you can do at home, for example. But if a child is coughing and is breathing with difficulties, that child needs to go to the hospital. If a child is having high fever, coughing, struggling to breathe, that child needs to go to the hospital because we've been dealing with pneumonia, we'll be dealing with something more serious. But if a child just cough, a little cough here and there, but the child is otherwise sucking well, no fever, breathing fine, sleeping well, just watch it. The child will be fine in a couple of days and weeks, maximum 2 weeks. The child should be fine. More importantly, keep babies away. I talk about prevention of those things. Keep babies away from people who are coughing and sneezing and having catarrh. That is where they get it from. Two, don't take babies to the kitchen. If you are using firewood to cook, keep baby away from those smoky area. Keep baby away from your generator fumes. Keep baby away from kitchen generally. All the frying food, frying oil, everything, no way. All this smoking, for some families that the parents smoke, no smoking around babies. Those of you that use fleet, insecticide, spray and all that, none around baby. If you use it, you have to keep baby away until all the smell and everything is going. These are things that irritates the airway and that can make them cough. Cough is actually not something bad. Cough is actually a good reflex, because what cough is doing is trying to clear whatever is irritating or whatever is a foreign body in the throat. That's what the cough is trying to do. So, but when the cough is now so much and very persistent, and then that is when we begin to worry about it. Like it becoming useless cough and it's not going and it's becoming so much. That is when we will worry about it. So otherwise, there's no other home remedies. We don't recommend cough syrup, especially for infants. We don't recommend cough syrup because number one, babies don't cough out anything. Okay, when they even if it's a wet cough, they swallow it. Most cough syrup are meant to expectorates. They are able to help you bring out the sputum. Children don't usually bring out the sputum, they swallow it, so they don't need cough syrup. That's number one. Number two, cough syrup tends to make them feel sleepy, and it tends to depress their breathing. And for actually for babies less than 1 year, it is so important that we monitor their breathing, because that is actually what tells us a child who is having pneumonia different from a child who is just having a respiratory infection. And if you give them cough syrup, you can depress that breathing, and then you will not notice when they're actually breathing fast and struggling to breathe, and you will not go to the hospital. And then sometimes when parents feel like, oh, I'm giving cough syrup, I'm already treating the child. You are not treating the child, you are treating the cough, the symptom, just like giving paracetamol for fever. If fever is caused by malaria, you are not treating malaria, you are treating fever by giving paracetamol. What will treat malaria is the Coartem or anti-malaria, the non-nats, whatever anti-malaria you give, not the paracetamol. So the same thing with cough. So if you are giving cough syrup, you're only subduing the cough, but what is causing the cough may not is not being treated. So if a child has pneumonia and you're giving cough syrup, you will suppress the cough, but you have not treated the pneumonia, and that pneumonia is what can kill the child. So that's why majority of Nigerian children are still dying from pneumonia, even though we can easily treat pneumonia. So we don't want to give cough syrup, especially to babies below 1 year who cannot talk, who cannot tell us how they're feeling. So we can monitor their respiration, we can see it. And like I said, most of those cough syrup are expectorants. Babies don't expectorate, so it is really useless for them. So if your baby is having cough, fever, fast breathing, that baby needs to go to the hospital straight away. So that is that. I hope that will be that's helpful. Amara, you missed your answer. I already said don't worry about your baby. Your baby's development is fine, but you can always rewatch the whole episode again and you will still get the answer. All right, I think that's all for Instagram. I can continue with Facebook. Somebody is asking, is it good to give eggs to baby below 1 year? Yes. Okay. When I see this kind of questions, it worries me. It worries me because it shows that this parent does not understand complementary feeding. It worries me a lot. So I'm not sure who is asking this question, but you're on our Facebook group, which is good. Please, when we finish, post this same question either on the Facebook group or ask a question about feeding so that somebody can direct you to our guide section, so you can go through the complementary feeding guide. You can watch the videos. You need to understand how to feed your baby. If a mom doesn't understand that a baby can take egg from 6 months, it worries me a lot, because that means that baby has not been taking egg, and egg is one of the most balanced protein ever for children. So they should eat eggs. I'm not saying they have to take it every day, but they should be eating eggs. So I really want you to go get that teaching. And it worries me because this is just an example of the fact that parents don't even understand the kind of food we should be giving to our babies. Children need to eat protein. And many of us just give children pap, and milk, pap. They're going to cause malnutrition. That's why malnutrition, stunting, wasting is still so high. So we need to understand how to feed our children. Most of you, the parent, you eat too much protein, you eat too much fish, you eat too much meat. If there's no food in the house, instead of giving the meat to the children, you give it to the daddy, who is already grown. The daddy doesn't need protein. The children needs the protein. Give it. If there's only one meat in the house, it should go to the child, not to the father. And I meant that with all due respect to the fathers and the mothers. But I know African patriarchy culture, we would rather give our mothers, we rather give the food to our husband, and the children will go without meat or fish. Then the father will be eating 3 or 4 meats. He doesn't need them. The children need this month. They are the ones still growing. The father is grown. He's maybe overweight self. So please, the children should be the one eating the fish and the meat and the egg more than the adults in the house, because they are the ones still growing. So please, let's give our children the protein that they need. But okay, I hope you will go through our question, the guide section on complementary feeding. Somebody said, please, should I be worried? Okay, you have not even asked us your question. You already asked us whether you should be worried. Please don't worry. No matter what you tell me, I'm still going to tell you not to worry. So I usually don't get when parents ask me, should I be worried? I'm not going to tell you to worry ever. So you may as well stop asking. But I've given up correcting parents because they will always say, should I be worried? Should I be worried? So I gave up. Before I used to correct it, that you don't need to tell us whether to be worried. We are not ever going to tell you to worry. We're only going to tell you what to do, like go to the hospital or do this or do that. Worry does not solve any problem. So, but I found out that it's just a speech that parents are so used to saying that there's no way I will correct it, so I just gave up. So, but I'm very surprised somebody is already telling me, should I be worried? But you've not even asked me the question, you're already worried. So please don't worry. I can answer that very easily. Your baby is 1 year and but it is now erupting, or it's not, is it not erupting or now erupting? Because if the teeth is they're already coming out, I'm not worried. Okay, even if there's no teeth as 1 year, I'm still not worried. Okay, because we know some babies don't bring out their teeth until the age of 1 year or 13 months, and it is still normal. I know most babies start around 5 to 6 months, but it is still normal even if they don't have it at 13 months. Don't worry. The dentist wants to see your baby at 1 year. They have a way of looking. They can do their x-rays and they can see the teeth right there where they are in the skull, in the head. The teeth are already there. Even the permanent teeth, they already been there from day one. It's just that they come down. That is where you now see them. So the dentist can actually see them there, even though you can't see them. They can do the x-rays and see all the teeth. So there's really no reason for you to worry at all. All right, let's move on. Another person say, my son is having reflux. He's not eating, 9 months old. I always prefer you use simple English when asking questions. I don't like parents using medical jargons. Reason being that sometimes people use jargons, is they are not using it right. Okay, so I prefer you tell me my baby vomits, or my baby bring out food, or my baby is doing this or doing that, and let me work it out whether it's reflux, vomiting, or this or that, or it's even not normal. So because sometimes once you tell us reflux, then our mind goes to a particular thing, it may not be, and then we end up giving wrong answer to the wrong question. Because 9 months old, reflux is not a major issue at 9 months old, because they should be on complementary foods. So I'm not really worried about, I shouldn't be expecting 9 months old who is taking solids to be having a lot of reflux. I'm not saying they can't. Some babies actually have what we call reflux disorder, but there are ways that we know if your baby is having reflux. If you tell me what the baby actually does when you feed the baby, okay, but your baby is not eating. So what is baby refluxing? Because by definition, reflux means the baby brings back what the baby has eaten. So a baby who is not eating technically should not have reflux because there's nothing to bring back. So that's why I say it's better not to use medical jargons. It's better to really tell us. And parents always say things like, my baby is not eating. What they actually means that baby is not eating as much as they want the baby to eat. So I'm used to all those mom talks. So the baby who is not eating is 9 months old and it's already weighing 11 kilos. The baby is eating, all right? Let's be honest. This baby is eating. The baby cannot be weighing 11 kilos, which is the weight of an 18-month-old baby at 9 months if the baby is not eating. So baby may not be eating as much as what you want and all that. And that's what worries the mother. But a baby who is weighing 11 kilos at 9 months is eating enough. So because sometimes that's another thing that reminds me of another thing. Sometimes parents think the baby should eat this much. And when your baby does not eat that much and eats this much, then they think, oh, my baby is not eating. But sometimes I find that sometimes mothers or sometimes parents don't know what is actually the right quantity children should be eating. And sometimes we are translating the volume of milk that they will take, we translate it to the volume of solid as well. It's not. Usually they take the amount of milk they will take to get the same calories will be a lot. Whereas if it is solid, it's actually a smaller quantity that they need for that. So that is it. So I don't know. This was because I really need you to ask this question again and preferably give more details. Tell me exactly what your baby is eating, what you are feeding the baby, what quantity the baby is taking, because I actually think your baby is overweight already. So if your baby is having reflux, bad reflux, baby will not gain weight. In fact, that is where we intervene. Okay, if your baby is having reflux and it's not losing weight, we are not going to do anything. That means the reflux is not bad, it's mild. So if this baby is having reflux, but this baby is weighing the weight of an 18-month-old, I have a lot of concern about that definition of reflux to start with. And then the question is, a baby who is weighing 11 kg is eating. Maybe it's not sure, maybe it's overweight, it's not actually underweight, unless there's an error in what you typed. So there's a lot of contradiction. And for us as pediatricians, we work by objective figures. So the objective figure you've given to me does not seem to support the story. In other words, baby is not eating, baby is having reflux, but baby is overweight. There's something is missing here. So I need details. I need details of what is the baby eating, what quantity is this baby? Is it the quantity that you're worried about, or is it the frequency? Then now some mothers want their babies to eat 8 times a day, because when they were sucking 8 times a day. But when babies go on complementary feeding, they don't need to eat 8 times a day. They need to take food maybe 6 to 8 months, twice a day, in addition to the breast milk. By 9 to 12 months, they eat 3 times a day in addition to the breast milk. So they don't need to eat all the time. So that's another thing, because people want to give them the same complementary feeding every 3 hours, every 2 hours. Then when baby doesn't want to take it, and because baby is overfed already, parents say, oh, baby is not eating. No, that's not. So I always want parents to understand first what is the norm, what is expected, and then you can now know what is not right. So sometimes when I go through some of these things, I find out that baby is actually doing well. Okay, it is just lack of understanding. So I know that you may have some clarification to make. So I will need more details to answer that question. So 8 month old baby weighing 8.1, is the weight okay? Yes, the weight is okay. Somebody else is asking, at what age can baby take honey after 1 year? Please do not give honey to babies below 1 year. I don't know why we have so much there's so much reference for honey, as people believe it's a wonder food and all that. Honestly, it's not. So you don't have, but please do not give it. If you believe this, that's fine, but please do not give it to children below age of 1 year, because honey contains what we call, it can contains spores of certain bacteria, what we call Clostridium botulinum. That's the bacteria there, and that spores, children cannot deal with it. So if they eat it below the age of 1 year, they can have what we call botulism, infant botulism, and it's a very dangerous disease. It can kill. So please do not give honey to children below the age of 1 year. Okay. Somebody say my 11 month old is giving high five, kiss me, wave bye bye. Boy has refused to clap. Okay, that's not a problem. He only claps when assisted. Why are you so interested in the clapping? All right. Anytime I say clap your hand, he starts to drag my hands to clap to him for assistance. Apparently, like the idea of clapping but can't clap. There's nothing wrong here. So baby is trying to use your own hand to clap. That is still okay. So I'm not really worried about this baby. Baby can wave goodbye. That is what I expect. And baby is baby talking and all that. You didn't mention that usually 1 year they can start having 1 to 3 words and all that. But I'm not really worried if your baby is not clapping at 11 months. I'm not worried at all. All right, just relax, just let the baby be. Children develop at different rates. They do things at their own time. All right, and we don't need to rush. I always tell parents there's no need to rush their children's development. Parents always want children to do everything so fast, so fast. No, just let them do it at their own pace. We are only worried if they are really, really falling behind, their age. But at this age, some of these things are I just feel the parents are just anxious. Just don't need to be anxious. Just let the children be. All right. Okay. The next question, my baby 11 months is weighing 8.6. Is the weight fine? So 11 months by this age is be closer to 9 and 10. But then 8.6 is not far from 9, 9.5, 10. So if we say the average weight is 10 kilogram, for example, between 80 to 120% range of that is still fine. In other words, if an average 11 months or 1 year old should weigh 10 kilos, Even if they weigh 8 kilos, that is still within normal. Even if they weigh 12 kilos, that is still within normal. So there's always a range. So when we mention one figure, we're just talking about the 50% of them will be around that figure. But some babies will be a little bit above, some people will be a little bit. Everything is a range. It's just like height. Everybody is not like this is the tallest person, that this is the short. No, it's just like a what we call a Gaussian curve. Everybody really goes a little bit above, and that's still fine. So I don't worry about your baby at all. It's fine. Just make sure baby is eating well and your baby is not dropping the weight. All right. Another person say, my baby says, "Mom, how many times should I give him pap a day?" You don't have to give him only pap a day. And your baby doesn't even have to ever take pap. That is number one. That's number two, is that you don't have to even give. So I worry about giving him pap a day. Like, pap is the only food baby should be eating. No. So you really need to go through our complementary feeding. I think I've done so many ATP Live on complementary feeding. I've done a podcast on infant feeding. It is so important. And I still see these questions. It worries me because I think an average Nigerian mom thinks complementary feeding is pap feeding. And I've said that 100 times. And I'm sure if you go on our Instagram, you will see that flyer there. Complementary feeding is not pap feeding. I mean, it's so bad that some parents worry that their children does not want to take pap. Like, even though the child is eating every other food in the world, but the baby is not taking pap, they think there's something wrong. No, the child doesn't have to take pap. Pap is just one of the cereals. It's one of the carbohydrate food. Your baby can decide to take potato, he can take yam. They are all still doing the same work like pap. And baby should take other food. There should be protein, like I was talking about the eggs, I was talking about the crayfish, fish, meats. Baby should take that as well. Baby should take fruits. They should take veggies. They should take fats, palm oil, butter, all those things, they should be there. Of course, dairy, milk, breast milk, or if you are not breastfeeding as much formula, they need to take all that. So pap alone is not the only food the baby should be taking. So we should not be talking about how many times your baby should be taking pap, because that gives us the impression that pap is the only food that baby is going to be taking. No, it's not. In fact, baby can take pap in the morning and take another food in the afternoon, can take another food in the evening, depending, like that. So this question requires you to go to our guide section. I'm happy you're asking from the Facebook group. If you don't mind putting this question on the group straight away, somebody can direct you to the guide section. Please watch those videos. What do I give my baby? How often do I give it? What quantity? With all those questions are being answered, and they use our local food. If you even download the app, the Bath and Beyond app on iOS or Play Store, they are there. And it's available in Yoruba as well. It's available in Hausa language. So you can watch those videos in English or Yoruba or Hausa, so you understand in your local language how to feed our babies. Our babies are malnourished because most of us, not because we are poor, because we don't understand how to feed them. And 50% of children's health issues has to do with their weight. That's why pediatricians were so concerned about weight. You see us every time you come to hospital, we are putting the baby on the scale, we are measuring weight, we are measuring head, you will think we are tailor, but we carry our tape roll up and down. The reason is because a baby who is healthy, who has a good weight, that baby can fight infection by themselves. So it helps us a lot when babies are having good weight, because we know even if they have malaria, if they have any infection, their own body system can fight and they will recover. But a baby who is already malnourished on the weight, any little, number one, they are more prone to having infections, and when they have any little infection, just send them the other way. In fact, 50% of children who die, 50% of them already have malnutrition as an underlying factor. So getting the weights, getting healthy nutrition right is so critical, because even babies that have healthy nutrition, they have good immune system, good immunity to fight malaria, fight. So when they have any little infection, they fight it by themselves. They don't even have to come to the hospital. So that is why it's so important that we get it right. And feeding, first 6 months, breast milk only. Okay, some mothers don't like to listen to us say breast milk, breast milk. August, we are going to talk about breastfeeding. August, first week of August is World Breastfeeding Week. We'll remind you again about breastfeeding. It's so easy. I see a lot of mothers coming to ask questions. My baby is now sick. My baby is going here, but I can't do breastfeeding because I have to go to work. I have to. We will always have reasons why we can't do what we can do. I don't want to trivialize those reasons, but you will find out that in the long run, you will save yourself all those stress that by breastfeeding, because at the end of the day, your baby is now sick. You are going in and out of hospital, seeing the pediatrician, spending the money, leaving that job that you actually. That's why we are actually advocating that the government should actually give mothers 6 months of maternity leave so that they can do exclusive breastfeeding. And Lagos states and a few states have agreed because they realize that it's actually doesn't pay, because at the end of the day, that mother is in the work. Her mind is at home. She's not concentrating on her job. Her baby was falling sick because baby is on bottle feeding and all that. Then she's going to leave the job again. She's going to take sick leave. So why not people just give the mother time to be at work and be at home, breastfeed her baby? Baby will be fine. Mother is fine. Everybody has peace of mind, and we're all contributing to the to our country. So at the end of the day, I always tell mothers just do the right thing. It will still save you that headache and stress all the time. But people always but it's a choice. We can't force you to do it. You have to do it by yourself. But if you do it, you will find out that you actually save yourself more stress in the long run. Okay, so first 6 months, breast milk only. From 6 months, breast milk is not enough. You keep breastfeeding, but you are now adding other food. And when you are adding other food, it's not just pap, and it's not just pap and milk. It is all the food, okay? But usually when you start with semi-solid, you start with porridge, something soft. Even though we say you can give all the food, of course, we're not expecting you to give the hard solid. You don't go from watery food, liquid milk, to apple or eba. No, you go from something in the middle, porridge, like pap, of course, but that pap, you need to add other things. But it should not now don't be only pap. You can give other things. You can mash your rice and add crayfish and add all those things to it, and that's good. You can do your yam porridge. You boil the yam, you put cactus fish, you put a little bit of palm oil, a little bit of salt to taste. You mash it well. You can cut vegetables, cut it very well, put it inside it. That's a balanced food. That baby can eat it. You can do amala, soft amala or semi soft, and with ewedu, with maybe chicken or meat. You shred them very small so that baby can easily swallow it. Your baby can take that. So, and you make it variety. So I don't want to go into complementary feeding again because it's a 1 hour topic on its own. But we've done this. You can watch all the old videos. You can go to our guide section. You can go through those videos by Global Health Media. They've done fantastic videos on how to feed our babies. So this is what I want you to do. Not pap. Pap is fine, but even the pap, you need to add like eggs to it, make it thick. You need to add milk to it. You can put like your banana into it, and that's a source of fruits or something, and it will be smooth and nice. People will enjoy it better. And it is not just one class of food. You must have at least 4 classes of food at every point in time that your baby is eating. So this is how to do healthy nutrition. I think we had one Saturday videos where we talk about better nutrition for our children. That was just last month, June. So I really want you to watch that video and see again, or go through our guide section. It's so important. I really, really like that parent gets feeding our children right. Okay, our time is up. So I'll just round up the whole rest of the question quickly. Somebody said, when is the right time to give my baby warm Spella from age of 1 year? We in Nigeria, if you're in Nigeria, we live in a warm endemic area. So the WHO recommends that for those of us living in those areas, we deworm our children regularly, starting from the age of 1 year, and you can do it twice a year, every 6 months. Okay, that is what we do. If you are living abroad in UK, US, places where they don't have much of worms issue, it is not compulsory, because I know that people listen to me from all over, so I always like to make that clarification. So your baby is already 19 months, so you can deworm. The next person say, oh, please, when you ask question, make it one at a time, because if you don't put it together, I won't know which one belongs to which. But if your baby say mama, dada, that's fine. I guess that's the mother asking about the baby clapping hands. If you are the one there, that's fine. Okay, the pap person have answered you thoroughly. Before you do anything else, you need to go and watch all those feeding videos. Go to our guide section. It's so important you get it right. You must get nutrition right. Because once you get nutrition right, 50% of our headache as pediatrician is over, because we know your child can fight the infection by themselves. So, so get that one right first. Somebody said my baby of 10 weeks stretches while sleeping. What can I do to calm her? There's nothing wrong with stretching. You also stretch when you sleep, don't you? There's nothing wrong with baby stretching or moving. I don't know whether mothers expect babies to sleep like statues or whatever. I don't know. But it is completely okay for babies to move their hands and legs when they're sleeping. We have different phases of sleep. Okay, we have what we call the deep sleep and what's what we call the rapid eye movement sleep. So there's a stage in sleep where it's as if the child is awake, but they're still sleeping. So they will move their hands, they can cry, they can laugh, they can relieve what they have done through the day. It is perfectly fine. Just leave it. You don't have to do anything. It's nothing is wrong. You don't need to calm the child down. The child is not on calms. The child is not restless. Just let the baby be. All right. So somebody say my baby is 13 weeks. She's already weighing 7.2. Wow, that's big. The birth weight was 2.9, so maybe it was 3 and it's already double, more than double. How are you feeling the baby? Which is on EBF. Okay. Well, some babies also have some medical conditions that can make them to gain weight too much. Some babies have some genetic conditions. Some babies have other reasons why they gain weight too much. So we want you. I would recommend you see a pediatrician, because your baby was weighing 3 kilos and now is, if you are sure you're on exclusive breastfeeding, which means breast milk only, nothing else, no water, no formula. I always like to say that because a lot of mothers tell me they're on breastfeeding exclusive and they are doing other things. Because some people think exclusive breastfeeding just means that they are breastfeeding, even though they are doing other things. So exclusive breastfeeding means breast milk only. So I worry about that weight. I want to just see a pediatrician just to check that there's none of those congenital problems or genetic problems. Some babies just gain weight rapidly like that for no reason. I will just monitor them. But some babies, that may be the first sign to us that there's something wrong, in the Miafi syndrome and all that. I don't want to bore you with all that, but just check with the pediatrician. When you go for your next immunization at 14 weeks, your baby is going to do for 14 weeks immunization. Let a doctor check on that child. And let's also reweigh first, because sometimes it's scale error. Because I've seen people tell me my baby weighed this, and then in 1 day or 2 days, baby has gone down to the next level. The commonest actually reason for all this thing is scale error. So we have to weigh the baby again twice. Let's go and check the weights on it and again make sure that it is not even a scale error, because sometimes there's a way you also look at the baby, you will know that this baby can weigh this much, or this baby is looking so big. But if baby is not looking so big and the scale is giving you that, you may want to just sort of confirm that it's not a scale error. So that's another thing we need to be sure of before we start worrying. Somebody says, is it safe to mix silver bed and baby oil? No, don't. Nigerian mothers, I don't know, it is not in the constitution that eucalyptus oil or silver bed oil must be in your maternity pack, and it is not that you must always mix it with your baby's oil. And then your baby will start sneezing, then you come back to the picture, my baby is always sneezing, it's always sneezing. The first thing I always ask mothers when they tell me my baby is always sneezing is, have you add silver bed oil to your baby's oil? Because all mothers kind of do it. I remember even when I had my baby, my mother was like, let's do it. Then people will sneeze and say, like, no, you don't need to do that. So please just stop it. Okay. Yeah, sometimes we use it when baby has catarrh, but like I said, if you watch from the beginning of this program, most of the time all you just need to do is to actually keep baby away from people that have catarrh themselves. Babies have catarrh from older people. It's a viral infection. People who are coughing, who are sneezing, and this culture of everybody who comes must carry baby, must kiss them and carry them, and they are depositing all their germs on the baby. And these babies don't even have as much immunity yet to fight. So I always say, but don't let people carry your baby. They came to visit you, not the baby. So let the baby just be on her own, because most people that are coming to us, they have their own germs. It's not disturbing them, but it's going to affect the baby. Then the siblings, when they have cough, when they go to school, then they come back with all their cough and catarrh, then bam, they give it to the baby. So keep baby away from them. Exclusive breastfeeding, keep baby warm. Yeah. Silver bed oil may help if they have blocked nose and all that. We would just say just drop it on like a clothes, like the clothes of the baby around, so that baby can sniff it, can help them clear their nose. But don't put it in their oil like routine, habitual thing. And usually 1 week or so that should clear, and that should be the end All right, final question. My baby fat smells badly. There's nothing wrong with baby's fat smelling. Fats are meant to smell. You can't control everything, okay? Mothers always want to control everything. Your own fats also smell. So there's no reason why baby's fats cannot smell. And we are not even worried about that. So just let the baby be. I worry if baby is not fatting, that's when I worry. But baby is fatting, that's fine. All right. I think we will just round up with the Instagram questions. So yeah, Mara King, I've answered your question. There's nothing to worry about, but you can always listen again. Blix and Rich, should complimentary feeding start at 6 months? Yes, sir. Yes, ma. For babies that are not on exclusive breastfeeding, yes, whether on exclusive breastfeeding or misfeeding, complimentary feeding starts at 6 months for everybody. I know some of you read on your thing and all that, and they say 4 to 6 months. WHO, every pediatricians, our agreement is 6 months. Every other information from every other person, ignore that. Good evening, Rachel. I just gave birth. Okay, what is your question? We can see. My baby have no noise running. Noise running. What do you mean nose or like a? What should I do? Just clean it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. Okay, all that is helpful. Then Shilozi, good evening, ma'am. Please, is it normal for babies to bite? Yes, they can bite at certain age. It depends on what you mean by bites. Like biting people when they should not be biting people. What's the age of the child? She's 10 months old. She weighs 9.7, eats well, but can bite so much. So babies, when they are teething, when they are bringing out teeth, they can bite, and that is their. So what we tell you to do at that stage is to give them teethers, something that they can bite on, so they don't have to bite you. So you can give them teethers, and they can put the teethers in their mouth to bite on. So you don't have to be scared. Just make sure you give baby teethers, and that's all we need to do. All right, I think that's the end of today's questions and on ATP Live. Thank you so much for joining me. I think I'm beginning to do better with my time. I'm keeping the time now. So thank you so much for watching. You can rewatch the video. If you have any question, you can rewatch. And you can obviously you can join our Facebook group and ask your questions from Mondays to Saturday. Thank you so much, everyone. And remember, July is our anniversary month. Watch out for all our programs. I'm sure we'll start seeing our flyers very soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye, 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 bye.